Hello, everyone. I'm Jake.
I'm Hannah. Welcome to another episode of Dave Rubin Wrote a Book, and I hate it. Semicolon, also Jake is here.
And I hate it. Parentheses, please end this.
Side note, if anyone knows a copy editor, please call us. So
Rick.
today we're going to be looking at what a wonderful chapter. It's not very long. I don't know how much we're going to have to say about it. It's called Stop Hating Straight White Men, America, and Western Values. Done.
That's the end of the chapter. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Can we? He's so fucking. He tries to be edgy, and it's really frustrating to read someone who talks about how they were the high school quarterback all the time as a personality. This is very similar to this, where he's just like, where he pretends there's like people at the gates with pitchforks about everything he says. And it's like, no one cares. You're just a boomer. So here's how he opens this fucking chapter. Allow me to open this chapter with a statement that's wildly controversial and gulag-worthy hate speech. America is the greatest country in the history of the world. Okay, when you say this and leftists hear you, they don't disagree with you because it's this controversy and gulag stuff and hate speech. I mean, I don't know if even leftists do disagree. I don't even know. I don't know that great is a thing that we could call most countries in human history now. It's probably it's a decent try at a place to live.
Here's what I would say about it. As a trans individual, I would say America is certainly in my top 5.
Yeah.
I might prefer Canada if I just had an option. Hey, do you want to live here or Canada? Might go Canada for healthcare, even though there are waiting lists and stuff. Still better than $20,000 plus in expenses in terms of surgeries.
They have waiting lists.
Currently,
We don't have room in hospitals to the point where people that live near Dave Rubin, if you have a cardiac arrest, you're just fucked.
sure. For instance, like I'm getting electrolysis treatment on my face,
Sure.
which is why sometimes, even in this episode, you guys can probably see I have a dark upper lip because I'm not supposed to be shaving quite as often because it needs to be long enough for them to do the procedure, which is unfortunate, but luckily at the end of it, I'll be, facial hairless, which will be very nice. But either way, I'm paying $70 an appointment every week. I calculated by the time I'm done, it's going to cost like $7,000 to do that shit.
Yeah.
So when Dave Rubin says America is the greatest country on earth, I guess I don't understand by what metric he's referring to specifically outside of it just being an aggrandizing, beating, chest, thumping. Ow. I'm not used to the boobs.
You know what I'm more surprised about? That you generated enough force to hurt yourself.
They're just tender because they're growing. No, but like we're not first in education. We're not first in upward mobility. We're not first in happiness. We're not first in availability of healthcare to people.
No.
We're not in health in general, like in terms of life expectancy and quality of life. What are we the best at, Dave? What are you talking about?
Imprisonments?
We have the highest incarceration rate.
Per
Yay,
capita,
freedom,
not just
yay, America.
per capita.
Yeah.
We also have the highest deaths from police and
Whoa.
the highest gun violence statistics.
Yeah.
We have, surprisingly, we have a pretty for Western nations and developed nations in general. We need to get away from this idea of Western, by the way. We have really bad mortality rates for pregnancies as well. Partial due to the pushback, you might say, against things like abortion and just sex education in general, because we have uninformed people doing things that, and they do it out of poverty. We also have pretty high poverty rates. We have quite literally high percentages of segregated communities, where that's not super normal, although it is persistent throughout the British Canada America sort of group there. Yeah, we're bad at stuff. We are number one in military bases as well. That's true, by a lot, by a
Yeah.
lot. Um,
He goes on to say, and this is the most beautiful, awful argument I've seen from Dave lately. It says, if you disagree with this, then you should probably ditch all of your first world luxuries, including but not limited to your iPhone,
okay.
which is manufactured in China,
Yeah.
your PlayStation, which is
is
not manufactured in the United States, nor is it designed in the United States. PlayStation is a Japanese company.
Wait, Sony's Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh.
70-inch flat screen TV. My 70-inch, I think I actually have a 75-inch flat screen TV. I have a 75 and a 50-inch for the bedroom. You gotta have that. You gotta have noises at night. I gotta watch The Twilight Zone while I go to sleep. Anyway, those were both made respectively in South Korea and, again, Japan. It's a Sony television. Sony television and a Samsung. Samsung sucks. Don't buy a Samsung TV.
Is that Korean? What's Samsung?
South Korea.
Well, I don't think... When I said Korean, it was implied it was the South part.
Sure. And then he says Netflix subscription.
There, we
Netflix
got one!
is an American company.
We got one!
Got one.
Hell yeah. Plus your right to live freely.
Does Dave think PlayStations are made and designed by a United States company? Does he not know Sony is a Japanese company?
I mean, he says first world, but this is in defense of America being the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. It's also strange to me, too, because he acts as though there are two extremes and nothing in the middle. Either you think America is the greatest country in the world,
right,
or you hate America and everything it is even tangentially involved in, up to and including modern technology. Which isn't the case. Like I said, there are a lot of things I really love about the United States.
Sure.
But I'm an adult, not a child, so
Right.
I recognize that nothing is perfect. Absolutely. And that you need to be able to look at the problems in your country and address them. Otherwise, you stagnate and die as a nation.
100%.
You can't just be like, all right, we did it, folks. This is the country. We did it. Hooray!
We did
No
it.
point in American history, including today, would that be okay to say, because we're continually getting better.
Right.
You cannot just say, like, it's done. It's not a cake. It doesn't have a timer that goes, ding, it's baked, it's done. I just don't understand. It's okay to say, hey, I'm glad I live in the United States for a variety of reasons,
Sure.
but also I'm a citizen of this country. And with other citizens who have the same concerns as me, we want to work to improve things for each other and ourselves.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. And that's not the same as saying, I hate America, or straight white men for that matter. I don't give a shit, Dave.
Look, okay, let's when straight white men are talked about as the representative of all straight white men, as the straightest, whitest, manliest man, don't check that. It's it's not about hating me inherently, because I don't, and people, turns out some people like me. It's not a bunch of people, but it's enough. It's enough to know that it's not an inherent thing on the left where they're just like, straight white man, blah. What it is a lot of things, but mostly it boils down to straight white men and the culture that modern straight white men come from is a source of oppression for many groups. And the source of oppression tends to persist through generations due to the fact that straight white men don't have to deal with those oppressions. Part of it is ignorance, in the genuine way, not the persistent sort of ignorance of like a racist. It's the ignorance of like genuinely not understanding that being a straight white man has any implication historically, because I mean, you grow up, it's not like you learn, by the way, people that look like us enslaved others. They don't frame it that way. They frame it as slavery existed in America, right? And it's not like, I tried to talk to somebody. I actually found the first person ever in my Twitch chat the other day who said they experience white guilt. And I was incredibly surprised by this, because most leftist people, when you talk to them, or lefty people, progressives, don't really actually experience this thing. It's usually a performative liberal thing they do, where they let like black people like fake whip them or something, and it's like a gross display of like inordinate racial reparation attempts. It's very weird. But this person was like, I just feel bad because people that don't look like me have it a certain way, and I don't. It's like, it's not what it's about. It's about understanding that just don't allow like something like racism. This is a very good example. We're having a discussion about racism, not being racist versus being anti-racist, which, again, people like Dave Rubin, they have like a problem with this, which is super weird, where it's not about just not being racist, right? Which is great. That's a great thing to not be, is to not negatively judge someone or just assume any quality about someone based on, their inherent self. The other thing is, like, don't allow that in your space. That's all that anti-racism is. It just means that, like, if someone says something racist, be like, hey, that's racist. And if they ask why, explain it to them. And that's okay. If you have someone that says, like, what is a racist joke, be like, okay, that's not cool. Or if they're a white person, like, casually throwing around slurs or something like that, you just check them. That's it. That's the whole thing. It doesn't sound like a big deal. It's the same thing that, like, if someone was homophobic, I don't think that Dave Rubin would want me to foster that, like, behavior in my friend group. Like, actually homophobic, right? I don't think Dave Rubin would think that's a good quality. And so it's not just enough to not be homophobic, but being anti-homophobia within my space, right? That's the whole thing. Stuff like this is why we can't even have conversations, because then he'll say, like, what, are you triggered? And he literally brings that up. Like, if you're triggered by this, stop reading. It's like, triggering, like, the whole thing. I know that's like a big meme on the internet. Like, that's a real thing. Like fireworks and a veteran. Like, what? Like, it doesn't take a lot to understand the terms you use in a denigrating way. And maybe understanding it's a good term used to help people, to prevent harm from people. And, like, there's this idea that like, feelings aren't things that matter, and it's like, that's the number one thing that matters. How you feel is, like, definitely going to dictate. As Dave Rubin knows, he lost his hair about how he felt, but he's incapable of. He's like still doing this Ben Shapiro facts don't care what your feelings shit. It's like, feelings are vital to the human experience. It's so strange that we have this disconnect because they're just trying to do this machismo bullshit.
Yeah. He goes on to be mad that people are using their platforms to spread progressive messages. He says, right, woke celebrities such as Lena Dunham, Amy Schumer, and Kathy Griffin are prime examples. They all promised to emigrate if Trump won the 2016 election, but they're still here, reaping the benefits of living in an affluent, opportunity-rich country where they're safe and free. He goes on to say, plenty of male actors are just as bad. Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, and Mark Hamill endlessly rail against the oppressive U.S. regime while plundering every benefit from it. Yeah, that's right. Captain America, the Hulk, and Luke Skywalker are all members of the hypocritical super elite. I don't think Dave Rubin knows anything about Captain America if he thinks that would be out of character for the character of Captain America. Has he read a single Captain America comic in the last... Is the last Probably Captain not. America comic he read the first issue where he punched Hitler in the face? And then he never read any other stuff? Well, no,
but he doesn't think that you should punch Hitler in the face.
I posted about this, because I was reading... I used the Marvel... I think it's called Marvel Now app. I read tons of old comics on there, and it's really great. If you want to get into comics, but you don't want to go buy a bunch of stuff and have it laying around, it's a good app.
It's
not sponsored or anything.
It's sort of like the Netflix of comics.
Yeah. There's some really good stuff on there. There's a great what if story where it's Captain America, and there's a second Captain America that starts a fascist dictatorship in the United States. So original Captain America basically comes and shows up and is like, this jingoism is terrible. Like, the thing that made America great wasn't the fact that, like, we were some ultimate power that could do no wrong. It's the fact that we all have the capability of becoming what I fought against in Germany. Right. And you've done this. The fact that made us great was that we chose not to be that and continually wanted to help other people around us because we're all like brothers and sisters in humanity. And it's like a really nice thing. Captain America is fucking based, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. And the fact that Dave Rubin is like, Captain America being progressive. Yeah, he does that all the time.
Captain America
he literally
gets transplanted
being...
from the 40s and like is not super a problem person.
When Richard Nixon, when Watergate happened, Captain America stopped being Captain America for a while because he wasn't about that shit. Anyway.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't know what his deal is. Maybe it's a California person thing, specifically LA. Why bring up these people? They're not political pundits. They do stuff and they have political opinion. I don't. And then
I think they just get mad that celebrities use their platform to spread often progressive
ideology.
ideology.
But they like people like James Woods, and it's like, first of all, he's
Chris Pratt,
right? Well, Chris Pratt's much less problem than everybody else. But yeah,
Chris Pratt keeps it to himself.
Yeah, he's just a Christian guy, and now his character's bisexual, which is.
But yeah, they'll like now, Kevin Sorbo, they'll like Dean
Kevin
Cain.
Sorbo's, yeah. They celebrate these people. It's like, well, then why would you denigrate these people for doing the same job better, but having a different political opinion? Like, why not talk to the political pundits? Oh, it's because Dave Rubin's scared.
It's literally just the fact that they don't like that the messaging they're getting out and using their platform to spread 100%. Tends to be left-leaning, at least 100%. Socially. He goes on to say, ironically, those who do flee America are usually rich people waiting to escape being taxed to the hilt by greedy politicians in the IRS. America has some of the lowest tax rates of any, Dave Rubin would say, Western nation, so that doesn't make any sense. Something that's only going to get worse when future President Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren executes Order 66 to eliminate the remaining billionaires scattered across the galaxy.
That was a Star Wars reference.
Sounds good.
Order 66 is killing all the Jedi.
Oh no, 630 people in the United States will get slightly less wealthy to the benefit of everyone else in the United States. The horror.
Yeah.
There's 630 billionaires in the United States.
By the way, he brought up, we kind of glossed over this. I just kind of want to go back since we're talking about billionaires again and kind of capitalism in general. He talked about how you have to ditch your first world luxuries, iPhones, PlayStations, TVs, Netflix, etc., because we have capitalism in America. Not understanding that, like he thinks that in socialism you don't get stuff, you don't have things. I had this conversation last night for some reason. People don't think that you can have things under socialism. I'm not a full-blown socialist, by the way. I think we're never going to reach that in my life, and while I think it's probably a step towards a more ethical existence, you have to take incremental steps with things this world changing. And so market socialist or socialism heavy capitalism is probably where we'll end up by the time I'm dead. In best case scenario, right? Not what I guess it's not what I want overall. I think anarchism and stuff makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. There's a lot of freedom involved with that, and people live in their own lives and very community oriented. But that's not the lattice on. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on the foundation of like a normal house. It's like you need to build that first. You need to build a bigger platform. You need to build a better support structure for that system where we don't have it. But there's a fundamental misunderstanding between private property and personal property that anti-socialist individuals don't really understand. And maybe some people that are on the left don't understand it either. And so really quick, this won't take it long at all. Private property is like owning a business, right? You don't get to solely own a business like Amazon. In the case of this, private property is Amazon. People like Jeff Bezos and the board of directors and stuff, they basically own it themselves. Instead of that, the workers own the majority of the thing, and then there will be people, because there's no unjust hierarchy. But there are just hierarchies. So you still have hierarchy. You may still have a CEO. Maybe it's still Jeff Bezos. He may have good ideas. He just won't make as much money because the profit share, it goes throughout the system. It's better capitalism because you want the group of people that are doing the work to make money commensurate to their output and their productivity under capitalism. That's kind of the idea. That's what capitalists say happens. It isn't how it happens. because you can crony up and you can manipulate it. Personal property are your iPhones, PlayStations, 70-inch flat screens, Netflix subscriptions, your house, your car, your kitchen, that stuff. You get to have personal property. You have stuff. I don't know why people don't understand this. Maybe it's because there's "this is my private property" signs that people stick on their houses, and they think that's private property, things you own. But that's not what it is. Private property is different than personal property. You have been illuminated. You're welcome. That you'll need to know that just in general when we talk about the capitalism and the way that Dave Rubin thinks it works, I guess. Anyway.
He goes on to say, furthermore, it's important to know just how good we have it so that we can recognize true injustice when we see it, especially government corruption and authoritarianism, then destroy it. Dave Rubin is a Donald Trump supporter.
I hurt myself today. Just that's running in my head right now. That is so stupid. That clearly there's authoritarianism within the Trump campaign. How do you not recognize it? How?
A phone call came out just the other day of Trump corruptly threatening the
in Dave's
Secretary of
defense,
State
that
of
happened
Georgia.
After the book came out, but more stuff happened before while he was writing the book. When you have actual authoritarianism like happening, I mean the man is anti the First fucking Amendment. If Dave
He's anti the Second Amendment too. Remember that time Trump said, "Take the guns first, ask questions later"?
Yeah, but those are from different people. Anyway, Jesus Christ, talks about the China thing and not understanding that left-leaning people 100% are for the protesters in China and stuff, which is why they don't like Gal Gadot. You know what I mean? Or not Gal Gadot. Well, one of the reasons you don't like Gal Gadot is because of the Israel thing. But the Mulan actress, that movie's terrible.
Yeah.
We watched it together recently. Just awful.
Bad.
Really, really bad. She supported the Chinese government, and then a bunch of lefties were like, "Fuck you," and then people like Dave Rubin are like, "Nah, be nice." It's like, but you agree with us. They can't even agree when they agree. It's such a fucking. It's such a LARP.
Once again, Dave Rubin and all conservatives think life works like a movie.
Yeah.
So he says, just imagine if Frodo from The Lord of the Rings spent all his time demanding help from the nanny state. He did get help from, they went,
multiple
when they
governments
formed the Fellowship of the Ring, they were like at a meeting.
That's NATO.
Okay.
But by the way, I don't know if he knows this. Well, it's not NATO. It's the allies. It's based on like world wars, like in his experience in the wars.
I'm pretty sure Tolkien says he hates allegory. So if you see that, then it's fine, he says, but he didn't do it intentionally.
Okay, sure.
I'm telling you what he said, okay?
Yeah, and Dave Rubin also says things and lies. There is but even if it wasn't, it is. But even if it wasn't, there's literal multiple governments that go out of their way to help Frodo specifically. Nanny state, he gets free healthcare from the elves multiple times. He has two different kingdoms of men, Rohan and Gondor, that help him and his allies multiple times, okay? He also has just his own home country that apparently you can just sit around and fucking eat all sorts of stuff, because prior to this, I know that the Baggages got their money because Frodo's uncle went and did Hobbit shit, and he got a lot of money from Smaug's Lair, okay? But he had money before that as well, and you can tell because in the movie The Hobbit and also the book The Hobbit, all the dwarves come and eat all the shit in his huge fucking mansion house that's sitting in the hill. I know it's not really a mansion, but the guy came from money, okay? God damn it. This is a story of a man humbling himself with his gay lover, Sam. Well, Sam's bi, but Frodo's gay.
He goes on. Or if Atreyu from the Never-Ending Story wanted somebody else to hop on Falcor and save Fantasia. Okay. or if literally
wait. Hop on Falcor. Wait, does Atreyu hop on Falcor in Neverending Story?
Falcor
Uh,
Atreyu.
oh, I was thinking about the horse. The horse
No.
dies in the mud. I forget what's
The
the
horse
horse's
dies
name?
in the swamp.
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't remember the horse's
Dead
name.
horse.
I haven't seen the Neverending Story since
It's
probably
really
the 90s.
bad. I watched it
Okay.
not too long ago.
Not as bad as the Neverending Story 3 with Jack Black.
Better than the Neverending Story 2, though.
A spray can.
Okay.
That's a line from that movie. He wishes for a spray can, and he gets it.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Or literally any main character from any Disney movie in the last 50 years. Oh, can't somebody else... Okay. I don't know. He seems to think... Name one person that's similar to Frodo in real life. You can't. They don't exist. These are hero fables.
Yeah.
These aren't
protagonists don't exist in the real world.
Look. You need... What Dave Rubin needs is Korean Dad. Are you familiar with Korean Dad?
No.
Oh, he's a really nice guy. Shocker, he's Korean. He also lives in California. He owns like a small little coffee shop or something. He's a CEO of a coffee shop with him and his wife, I think. They're very nice people. And they have like 2 stores or something. But he does this TikTok thing. It's called I think it's Your Korean Dad or just Korean Dad. He goes, "Hi, I'm your Korean dad," and then he just pretends to be your dad for 45 seconds or something. But he had a really good video. Where he'll do like cute stuff like let's build a gingerbread house, and they'll build a gingerbread house together or some shit. But it's really it's pretty wholesome, cute shit. But recently came out with a video like it's okay to ask for help. Like I think that like. There's this weird thing with conservatives, like that whole like man won't ask for help when he's lost on the road sort of meme that was in the 90s before phones happened. Just ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. It's strong to ask for help. It's a strength to humble yourself and you might be embarrassed or afraid or something to ask for help, but that takes strength. It takes a lot of... The reason I can tell is because it's easier to not ask for help than it is to ask for help based on how I was raised. A great example, my personal life, and maybe this, I don't know if this applies to you as well. When we were pretty poor, we should have gotten food stamps and health care, and we applied for Medicaid and I literally always thought, I don't need that. I'm getting by. Somebody else can use that. No, it's for specifically poor people. I'm poor as fuck. Why am I not doing... I'm so mad at former self that bought into that kind of mindset, which comes from my conservative, pretty much my conservative dad, but other conservative family members too. It's not all daddy issues here. Where they're just like, you don't take handouts, you work hard, bootstraps kind of shit. And I didn't, even though I was a left-leaning person my whole life, it didn't click for me until
Sure.
After I wasn't poor anymore, or at least not poor enough to qualify. And it's like that kind of stuff. Just ask for help. It's okay. It's fine if you need help with stuff. This goes for our community too. Okay, I don't mean like DM me in the middle of the night and expect me to give you psychotherapy because I'm not qualified and you shouldn't do that, and it's not super kind to do that all the time. However, there are people in the community within our discords or in other communities. They're just like, we'll give you solidarity and we'll make you feel a little bit better on Twitter. If you need some help with a GoFundMe, we're happy to retweet that kind of shit. There's all sorts of things that these little communities can help, and it starts with asking for help. It starts with understanding that you can't do everything alone. There's a reason we're social creatures. And frankly, quarantine should have illuminated this for most people at this point. That it's really hard to just 100% be alone at all times. Even you.
I'm pretty good at it.
You little goblin in your little cave. Yeah, but even you, you got Baja. I was trying to remember the nickname. And you still come over and we still hang out every once in a while. We still are able to do stuff. You can't cut yourself off totally. And frankly, when you started being honest about the things that you needed in your life, you became much happier. And that's just like a really great example of that. And something that I've been personally working on for a long, long time at this point. Like just getting over that sort of like the idea that we need to be our own superhero. You don't have to. It's fine if you're fallible. It's dope. And Dave Rubin doesn't seem to understand that. Like every single person is their own like Frodo, and they all have to bear this like heavy weight of this. Like the story about this, literally in Lord of the Rings, is you can't do it alone. That's like the theme of Lord of the Rings. I don't understand.
They're a fellowship.
It's yes, and he literally can't bear just the weight. The only thing about the ring is on hobbits specifically is hobbits are just pure little souls that are corrupted more slowly than like men or elves or dwarves, and that's why they have the hobbit do it. But Sam is there the whole time. He's got his friends out. Like, how does Dave not understand these things? Because he leans solely on pop culture to inform him about the correct course of action, I guess, and then entirely misses the point. I don't know.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about it?
Just the last line. Stop fixating on how many victim points you have. Nobody does that.
I have
how many points? I don't even know. How do we do that?
What's a high score? I'll say I
50.
have
I don't know. 100? 1,000? How do we I don't know how that works.
I have 14 points. I'm not doing very well.
14? Just the things that aren't socially acceptable?
I don't know. I just pulled a random number.
Oh, I was like, did you just pick actual 14 things that you're like, these 14
No, it was
things
just a random number.
Okay.
I could actually calculate. Hold on.
Well, 1, 2, I guess I'll count it as 3. 4. 4?
I'd say 4.
4-ish? I mean, yeah. I have 1. I'm not religious. That's probably it.
Oh, that would bring me to 5.
No.
Where's my prize, Dave? You promised me a prize.
Maybe being fatties?
Sure. Dave just has, he's gay,
Yeah.
and he's an idiot. Those are the two things.
The one is worse than the other, let me tell you. It's being an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Nothing worse than a dum-dum. There's always ways to save people, but I don't think when you're monetarily invested under capitalism. Do you think in socialism Dave Rubin is anything like this? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Because it sounds like a money grab to me. I just don't know if there's no money incentive.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway, that's the end of this. What's next?
Don't take your rights for granted, and then looking back, not forward.
Don't take your rights for granted.
Yeah.
He hangs out with Ben Shapiro, who doesn't think his marriage is valid. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the end of this episode. We actually did a lot more talking about this than I thought we would.
Yeah.
That's okay. How many more do we still have? How much more book do we have? We gotta be close.
We're getting towards the end. We'll be done by
March?
February, March.
Hell yeah. That's right around the time Jordan Peterson's coming out. Maybe we'll take a little bit of time and we'll do a really good movie review after this book.
We gotta do the Trump prophecy. We gotta do it soon, so it's timely.
Let's do it. On Inauguration Day we'll release it. I don't know what that. Well,
Okay.
I have literally no idea what day of the week that is. It's a Wednesday.
Sure, that's fine.
Tell you
We
what.
just got to record it soon.
Yeah. Well, is Trump? Is it on Netflix?
I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Sure.
The Trump prophecy.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. So we'll do the Trump prophecy soon.
It's about someone predicting a presidential candidate would get elected president.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, anyway, Stay safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Stay inside. Wipe your butt. I suggest wet wipes to finish. If you love yourself in your beehole. Subscribe. Follow stuff.
Our other channels are in the description.
There they are.
Patreon.
That's it. I think that's all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking cute, guys. You're looking real cute today. Good looking.